Devi ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Brinda ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Bol.
All glories to Srila. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Vishnupada Vishnupadaya Krishna Prachaya Bhutale.
Hare Krishna.
Srimati
Namaste Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati.
Devi
Vani
Gauravan Pracharya Nipasishas.
Prashati Visabhagini Jaja. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Thank you, Mother Vindhyavali.
Giving me the chance.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 6, Purusa Sukta confirmed, and we are reading today verse 24 to 26. Okay, let's read, we will read, together 24 verse, and then 25 and 26 I'll read later. Tesu yagyasya pasavaha sabanaspataya kusaha idam chadeva yajanam kalasturugunanvitaha. Tesu yagyasya pasavaha sabanaspataya kusaha idam chadeva yajanam kalasturugunanvitaha. Tesu yagyasya pasavaha savanaspataya kusaha idam chadeva yajanam kalaschuru gunanvitaha. Hare Krishna.
Tesu yajñasya pasava savanaspataya kusha idam cha deva yajñam kalashoru kunanvita. Hare Krishna.
Tesu jagnasya pasavaha savanaspataya kushaha idam cha deva yognamnam kalaschoru gunanibdam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Teshu yajnasya pasavaha savanaspataya kusha idam cha deva yajanam kalaschoru gunanvita.
Okay, word for word. Teju, in such sacrifices, yagyasya, of the sacrificial performance, pasavaha, the animals or the sacrificial ingredients, sabanaspatayaha, along with flowers and leaves, kusaha, the straw, idam, all these, cha, as also, devayajanam, the sacrificial altar, kalaha, a suitable time, Cha as also, Uru great, Gunanvitaha qualified. Translation by His Divine Grace Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. For performing sacrificial ceremonies, one requires sacrificial ingredients such as flowers, leaves, and straw, along with the sacrificial altar and a suitable time, spring. Text 25. Vastunyo sadhayasneha rasalohamrido jalam richo yajumsi samani chaturhotram cha sattama. Synonyms. Vastuni, utensils. O sadhayaha, grains. Snehaha, clarified butter. Rasalo hamidaha, honey, gold, and earth. Jalam, water. Richaha, the Rig Veda. Yajumsihi, the Yajurveda. Samani, the Samaveda. Chatuhotram, 4 persons conducting the performance. Cha, all these. Sattama, O most pious one. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Ki Jai. Other requirements are utensils, grains, clarified butter, honey, gold, earth, water, the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, and Sama Veda, and 4 priests to perform the sacrifice. Purport. To perform a sacrifice successfully, at least 4 priests, expert priests are needed. One who can offer hota, one who can chant udgata, one who can kindle the sacrificial fire without the aid of separate fire, advaryu, and one who can supervise Brahma. Such sacrifices were conducted from the birth of Brahma, the first living creature, and were carried on till the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira. But such expert Brahmana priests are very rare in this age of corruption and quarrel. And therefore, in the present age, only the yajna of chanting the holy name of the Lord is recommended. The scriptures enjoin Harera Nama, Harera Nama, Harera Nama iva kevalam, kalo nasteva, 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 gatiranyatha. Text 26. Namadheyani mantrascha dakshinascha vratani cha devatanu kramakalpa sankalpastantrameva cha. Synonyms. Namadheyani, invoking the names of the demigods. Mantraha, specific hints to offer to a particular demigod. Cha, also. Dakshinaha, reward. Cha, and. Vratani, vows. Cha, and. Devatanukramaha, one demigod after another. Kalpaha, the specific scripture. Sankalpaha, the specific purpose. Tantram, a particular process. Eva, as they are. Cha, also. Translation and purport by Jivan V. S. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Other necessities include invoking the different names of the demigods by specific hints and vows of recompense in accordance with the particular scripture for specific purposes and by specific processes. Purport. The whole process of offering sacrifice is under the category of fruitive action, and such activities are extremely scientific. They mainly depend on the process of vibrating sounds with a particular accent. It is a great science, and due to being out of proper use for more than 4,000 years, for want of qualified brahmanas, such performances of sacrifice are no longer effective, nor are they recommended in this fallen age. Any such sacrifice undertaken in this age as a matter of show may simply be a cheating process by the clever priestly order. But such a show of sacrifices cannot be effective at any stage. Fruitive action is being carried on by the help of material science and to a little extent by gross material help. But the materialists await a still more subtle advancement in the process of vibrating sounds on which the Vedic hymns are established. 27. Now, the Vedic hymns are described in the following verses. 28. Namah Devaya 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 Namah Dev Gross material science cannot divert the real purpose of human life. It can only increase the artificial needs of life without any solution to the problems of life. Therefore, the way of materialistic life leads to the wrong type of human civilization. Since the ultimate aim of life is spiritual realization, the direct way of invoking the holy name of the Lord, as mentioned above, is precisely recommended by Lord Chaitanya. And people of the modern age can easily take advantage of this simple process, which is tenable for the condition of the complicated social structure. ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांस श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. If we're speaking on today's verse, I would like to take blessings and permission from all of you assembled devotees here. So, thank you, Prabhu. Okay. So just for recap, like where we are so far. So we ended Canto 1. We're just trying to all together. 1, where Parikshit Maharaj was asking question to Sukadeva Goswami, and then Sukadeva Goswami starts answering in second canto, right? Which we are now on. And then in this second canto, previous chapter, in the third chapter, the title was Change in Heart, Pure Devotional Service. In that, Saunaka Rishi actually speeds up and requests Sukadeva Goswami to speak more. Like instead of elaborating on that same thing, he stops Sukadeva Goswami and requests can you tell more what Parikshit Maharaj was asking? And then that connects us to chapter 4, the process of creation, where we heard that long mangalas, and then Sukadeva Goswami again narrates about what Sukadeva Goswami was going to say. And then Sukadeva Goswami offers a long mangalasana to Lord, and then Ved Vyas. And then he doesn't say the answer right away. He says the same question was asked by Narada Muni to Lord Brahma. So he refers to the conversation between Lord Brahma and Narada Muni. So that is the series we are on now. We finished all chapter 5 on that series, and then this chapter 6 also, Lord Brahma is still answering Narada Muni's question. So far we heard about the universal form and its different parts, right? And from previous verse, from yesterday's verse, Lord Brahma is speaking on sacrifice. So we all today's verse, 3 verses, we read about the requirements needed for the sacrificial ceremony, or Havana in particular, when it is said sacrifice in these verses. So let me pull this. Okay, well, let me read the translation for these 3 verses for today. Just reading text 24. For performing sacrificial ceremonies, one requires sacrificial ingredients such as flowers, leaves, and straw, along with the sacrificial altar and a suitable time, spring. In text 25, other requirements are utensils, grains, clarified butter, honey, gold, earth, water, the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, and Sama Veda, and 4 priests to perform the sacrifice. And last 26. Other necessities include invoking the different names of the demigods by specific hymns and vows of recompense in accordance with a particular scripture for specific purposes and by specific processes. So yesterday also we heard a little about the sacrificial ceremonies that Lord Brahma was saying. He got all those ingredients from the limbs of Lord's body. We heard from Prabhuji, Sasi Sekhar Prabhu. And so I was trying to make it like for my own purification, my own benefit. I will start like, what are the sacrificial ceremonies, especially Havana here. Srila Prabhupada in the translation and purport, he's indicating to actually the fire sacrifice, the Havana, with all those ingredients mentioned in those texts. So like we have all seen like fire sacrifices, like even in initiation or wedding ceremony or birth ceremony, all those times we have seen the fire sacrifices, right? So to my understanding, it's like it is a ritualistic offerings where chants and prayers are offered to invoke the blessings or mercy of the Lord. And then how are they performed? How are they performed? Mother Vindhyavali. You are muted.
How are the performance? The 4 priests will be there.
Mm-hmm.
And one person does the flowers offering, and they calling demigods. The other priest will do flowers and other things, and they will read the Rig Veda, Yajur Vedas, Samvedas. They read all the hymns, and then the other priest will do the havan in that ghee in the fire, and call the fire god. And that's all I know.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. But again, the goal is to seek blessings and blessings, purification, and that divine favor for specific purposes. Like they do different purposes, like for like someone is born or wedding or initiation or so many other any occasions like. And but in the purport of this verse, our today's verse and 26th verse, the Prabhupada wrote, the whole process of offering sacrifice is under the category of fruitive action, because we desire some fruit after that sacrifice. And such activities are extremely scientific. They mainly depend on the process of vibrating sounds with a particular accent. He says with a particular accent. So when I was reading this, we can remember that past time where what is his name? Vishwarup, when there was a past time when King Indra offends Brihaspati, he gets very offended. So and then they were losing power. The demigods were losing power. Demons were getting stronger. And then Indra decides that we have to have this fire sacrifice to gain that power back. And then he goes to request Vishwarup, son of Tosta, right, to perform the fire sacrifice. He was three-headed. Three-headed. And then when he comes and he does the fire sacrifice for demigods, headed by Indra. But he was, since his father was a sage, right, on the side of demigods. So but mother was from demon side. So what he was doing was like he was offering the oblations for the demigods, for the benefit of the demigods, for their strength and power. But secretly, he was also offering the oblations for his mother's side, for demons. So when Indra finds that out, he chops his head off. He kills Vishwarup. And then Tosta, father of Vishwarup, gets very angry that, and it is also a Brahman Hatya. That part is again different. Like there is a long thing about the Brahma Hatya, and then all those things. But we're coming to this point where the specific vibration should be with a particular accent. And then Tosta does a big sacrifice again, performs Homa or Havana to produce a son who can kill Indra. I know Parikshit Prabhu might be laughing at me. And then he performs that yajna, but instead of saying that the mantra, like Prabhupada said, should be with a particular accent. So instead of saying Indra Satru, he says longer at the end, saying Indra Satru or something like that. So little, nothing was changed, not even a word, but just what do we call the sound? Instead of small, he says little longer. Then it becomes opposite. Instead of the producing the son who is enemy of Satru, it becomes like Indra, who is the enemy of. And then who is born out of that yajna? Vritrasur, right? But and then Vritrasur, even being demon, that story is different. But the thing I'm focusing on here is like the accent of the mantras. Like it should be of like a particular accent that should be performed. And then another question comes like, why are they performed? Like it is already stated, they're to gradually revive the spiritual realization of the living entities. Or when we go back to Bhagavad Gita and chapter 3 and chapter 4, we can hear or read more about the sacrifice there. In chapter 3, actually, I think it is on verse 9, 10, around 9 and 10, Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he says, not in the purport, even in the translation, it says that the creation, when in the beginning of the creation, Brahma created the Manus along with the ritualistic sacrificial method. And the translation, it says like, continue these sacrificial rites and you will gradually elevate it to your proper position of self-realization and also enjoy material happiness. I mean, along with the creation of the human beings, the sacrificial ceremony out of our sacrificial rites were also created for the benefit of the human being. And talking about the sacrifice, when we hear that word, we think that sacrifice means only fire sacrifice or havan. But Srila Prabhupada in the verse from 24 to something like 34 or 35 in chapter 4, he writes more in detail about the sacrifices. And there he says there are not only one fire sacrifice, there are many sacrifices. And he goes on talking about the what is that Dana Yagya, and then Yoga Yagya, and then Jnana Yagya. And then he says, among all those different yagyas, the Jnana Yagya is the most important and most beneficial to the humankind. And when we see about these, when we see like even in temples, like when we go, we see this all these yagyas happening. Like in New Vrindavan, they're having this Nrsimha Yagya for 48 days till February 3rd, like every day. So when we see all yagyas happening around us, and then we think like is this one like more important, or does these ritualistic ceremonies in themselves are sufficient to make us spiritually realized soul? That question might come. But Srila Prabhupada says no. It's in a class, not in a class, in a purport to third canto, he has given answer to this question. Like, no, it is not sufficient, because these ritualistic ceremonies of sacrifice are meant for material economic development, so that we can keep the body in good condition for cultivation of spiritual knowledge, actually. And he says, sometimes, like when we say yagya, and we see yagya performance going on, we go too much in detail about the ritualistic, like this, like we should offer this, first this, second this, all those things, like in the ritual. But the main goal of that yagya is to please the Supreme Lord Krishna. And I think in chapter 3, it is also said like Lord Krishna is also called Yagya. His another name is also Yagya. And so coming back to different types of Yagya, I forgot about that another Yagya, Dravya Yagya. Yagya, Dana, Tapa. Srila Prabhupada continuously, frequently, he mentions these 3 points, like Yagya, Dana, Tapa. And when he talks about our 4 orders of life, or the ashram, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa, he says yagya is usually, not usually, yagya is for the students, brahmachari. And sacrifice means not only you do swaha, it's like you sacrifice your time, you sacrifice your energy to develop that knowledge, to develop that understanding, to go closer to the supreme truth. And dana is for the second, householder life, householder, grihastha life. Yagya, dana. Dana is like whatever, Srila Prabhupada, in Nectar of Devotion, and in many other places, he has mentioned like being householder, it is the responsibility of householder to maintain other ashrams like brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasa, because they are not going to spend their time on earning money or anything like that. But the householders are allowed to earn money, and they have to donate certain amount of their money for the survival of other 3 ashramas. He also gave that example of Rupa Goswami, where he divides his money when he was leaving the Hussain Sahaz reign, or leaving that thing to go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? He says 50 and 25 and 25, like that. Okay, I'm not going in detail that. And then tapa is for the vanaprastha, even for brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasa, austerity. That is. And after all talking about all these types of yagya, and then Srila Prabhupada starts about the knowledge, because he says among all these yagyas, the Jnana Yagya is the best, because that knowledge brings you more closer to Krishna. And then he says, what is this process of knowledge? And then he starts the Vidhi Pranipati. Now you have to find a guru, serve him, inquire from him submissively, all this stuff. Okay. And I have prepared, because Srila Prabhupada's purport is very clear. He already said that in this age of Kali, none of these yagyas, dana, tapa, dravya, yagya, dravya yagya, yoga yagya, anything like all these yagyas are not going to help us. They are not going to be beneficial. The only thing is yagya sankirtana prayer, Hare Nam, right? Hari Nam. And in the 25 verse, at last he says, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam, kalo nasteva, 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 patiranyatha. Let me share a slide where Srila Prabhupada, in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, it is mentioned that how important is chanting holy name compared to all these kinds of yagyas. I'm not diminishing the value of yagya, but just focusing on how much important is the holy name in this age. All right, I'm gonna see 1 second. It will be nice to see the word. Okay, in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 3, verse 79, says, Koti Aswamedayaka Krishna Nama Sama Jai Kahi Se Pasandi Dandidarayama. Translation: one who says that 10 million Ashwamedh sacrifices are equal to the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna is undoubtedly an atheist. He is sure to be punished by Yamaraj. Why is so? Why is so? Right? We just saw how important is the yagyas, and in yagya, it's like Ashwamedha yagya is not easy. Right? I missed that part, but we have heard so many times that in those days, fire sacrifice was meant to test the potency of the mantra chanted. Like in Ashwamedha yagya, they used to sacrifice a horse, Aswa, right? But that was not for anyone's sense gratification. It was if the mantra was so powerful that Aswa, that horse which was sacrificed in that sacrifice, would gain a new life. Or like, for example, an old horse, if it is sacrificed, then it will come up with a new body, new life, new energy. Like that. And then it proved this one. But it is here in this verse, it says like 10 million such Ashwamedha sacrifices are equal to this. And if anyone compares the chanting of the holy name to such 10 million Ashwamedha, that is atheist, and he's sure to be punished by Yamaraj. Any thoughts on this? Anyone? Why so?
Hare Krishna, accept on holy obeisances, all glory to the Prabhupada. The chanting of the holy name is Krishna himself. Krishna is absolute. You cannot compare 10 quadrillion sacrifices to him. He is unlimited. So this person is limiting the chanting of the holy name to 10 million Ashwamedha sacrifices, meaning that once you get to 10 million, then basically you can go back to Godhead without chanting the holy name of the Lord in Kali Yuga. That's an atheist that would speak like that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Oh.
Mother Savarati, I thought I saw you were unmuted and then you muted.
No, that is what I was also going to say. Krishna's name is the same as Krishna. So nothing can be as powerful. Definitely nothing is more powerful. So that's what I was going to say also.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any other thoughts? All right. David Prabhu.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. I also, like you said before, the sacrifices are material or fruitive, and chanting the holy name is asking for Krishna's mercy. So
yes, very well.
Oh, Hare Krishna. And also, I've been reading that Krishna incarnate as in Kali Kale Naman Avatara. Krishna incarnate himself as a holy name in Kali Yuga. And like everybody is telling that the name Krishna and Krishna himself is non-different. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we should always remember that we just have Krishna, like Prabhupada said, Krishna dancing on our tongue.
Yeah.
So we always have to, keep in mind, when we say Hare Krishna, Krishna is just right there on our tongue. So this is one thing I can take away, that Krishna is not different from his name.
Yeah, thank you, Mother Guru. Yes, yeah. Making all these points together, Srila Prabhupada, in this verse, in the purport, he writes that person is sure to be punished by Yamaraj because he is doing the Nam Aparad, right? In the 10 offenses, and the 8th one, what is the 8th offenses for the holy name?
You consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered from Vedas as karma kanda. You hit it right on the nail. That's exactly where it is. That's an offense. Yeah, 8 offense.
Creative activities, yes, offered in Vedas as karma kanda. So it is an Nama Aparad, right? Offenses to the holy name. That's why she's sure to be punished by Yamaraj. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada further quotes another verse. He doesn't say where it is, but he says from in scripture. It is a very nice one. I really like this one. Gokotidanam grahane khagasya prayaga gangodakakalpabasaha yagyayutameru suvarnadanam govinda kirtana samam satam sahi. Even if one distributes 10 million cows in charity during an eclipse of the sun, lives at the confluence of the Ganges and Yamuna for millions of years, or gives a mountain of gold in sacrifice to the Brahmanas, he does not earn 1/100th part of the merit derived from chanting Hare Krishna. Vivo. Right? So glorious holy name. I like many pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, when he was one of them, when he was doing that temple inauguration in Vrindavan, our present day Krishna Balaram temple. I didn't quote here, but we have heard many times that when he was, because he said so many times like chanting Hare Krishna is enough for anything or everything, whatever. But he arranges that fire sacrifice with big pandits in Vrindavan. And when asked like why are we doing fire sacrifice, then if it is the holy name is enough, and then he said because these people in Vrindavan, like the priestly orders, they don't believe. For them, it's like kind of show off to attract them. And then, but he says like the chanting is more important. So he makes the devotees to chant on the side. Like there was a Brahma Samhita prayer going on, devotees were chanting, reading Bhagavad Gita at the same time, all those things. Right? But less intelligent people will think because of that swaha, that is a main important part of sacrifice. But Srila Prabhupada said, no, it's the chanting of the holy name. That's the most important part. Okay, actually that is kind of summum bonum for today's class. And I would like to wrap up with Srila Prabhupada's words on the, let me see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Jagga must be performed. Jagga must be performed. Jagga, saho jagga praja sishtya.
Can you hear me or no?
Yes, we can.
That you are born to perform jagga, especially the human being, not the lower animals. They cannot perform. So, if you do not perform jagga, then whatever you are eating the resultant action of your sinful activities, and therefore if you eat in the ordinary way, if you steal and eat nicely, that means you are creating your path clear for being arrested by the police someday and be punished. Everyone knows that. Similarly, if you simply eat the sinful activities, then what will be the result? You will be punished. That is being done. People are not performing jagga. Nobody is performing jagga. That you can say that at the present moment to perform yajna, to secure pure ghee and grains, it is difficult job. Yes, that's right. Because in the Kali Yuga, the big yajnas which require lots of ghee and food grains to offer, that is not possible. Therefore, it is recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Jaggai sankirtanai prayai jajanti hi sumedhas. Sumedhas. You have to perform yajna. Without performing yajna, you will be entangled in sinful activities. So, in the Kali Yuga, this is the yajna recommended in the Vedic literature. Krishna Vandang Tisha Krishnang Sangapangasta Parsadam Jaggai Sankirtanai Prayai Jajanti Sumedhas.
Krishna. Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. Very.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Please, if there is any more comments or more additional points we can add on this, please. But Prabhu, if you have more things to add on this.
Not add, but except on all the basis is God, Srila Prabhupada. It's a very nice presentation here to remind us how the sacrifice for this age is a Sankirtan Yagya. Srila Prabhupada, in this last section of the lecture that you played, he was stressing that the Yagya has to be performed. It has to be performed. And if we don't, and if we take something that we just for our own selves, thinking fruitively, then of course we're committing sin. We eat simple activities, simple reactions will come, and then we'll have to pay for it. As in Yamaraj's domain, that he will deal with that. But then he says, Lord Chaitanya has told us that the Jagya is a Sankirtan Jagya. So I very much like the way you concluded by reminding us that the Sankirtan Jagya. And then the other reference that, Ashwamedha sacrifice, no matter how many of them, cannot be compared to this particular Jagya. And anyone who thinks that way is an atheist. Very important references to support this particular lecture. So I appreciate that very much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. I was just meditating after chanting of the holy name. Like we read Prabhupada book, when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada say, in this, like you already mentioned, different kind of yagna. In the end of the purport, always Prabhupada mentioned for this age, Harinam Sankirtan. We should just perform Harinam Sankirtan. So if we forget to chant our Ram, or chant, we don't participate in Kirtan and everything, this is a reminder, that every time we're chanting the holy name, we're engaging in yagna. And we're chanting our japa, we are engaging in yagna. So it's so important, because otherwise we'll be bound in this material world. Like Bhagavad Gita said, yagna has to be performed, otherwise you'll be conditioned in this material world. So this is a good, very nice presentation. Thank you very much. And just also, just by talking about it, it can remind us, that it's so important for us to chant the holy name and meditate on Krishna's holy name all the time. That for Kali Yuga is recommended.
Yeah, thank you. Mother Sobaragi.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say you tied everything in very nicely. Very nice presentation. I was thinking, we hear this all the time, but sometimes we also give into that desire to have fire sacrifices, and we also give in, and this is a good reminder that and especially that verse that you quoted from Chaitanya Charitamrita, 1,000 Ashwamedha sacrifices will not be sufficient. It's not the same. It's not equal. It's not better. And sometimes knowing it and saying it is not enough. We have to actually practice it. And I'm so grateful, my Guru Maharaj also, whenever whenever there's a fire sacrifice going on, he will say, get a Bhagavatam out, sit in that corner and read. Somebody sit here and chant. Somebody, on all four corners, these things have to go on. The chanting of the Bhagavatam or the reading of the Bhagavatam and the chanting of the holy names. And in Vishnu Gada Prabhu insists that we sing the Brahma Samhita. This is the actual practice. Knowing it is one thing. To actually believe, have faith is another thing. And that's where we could always be better than where we are. All of us do chant, all of us do our rounds, we do everything, but when that temptation comes up, we need to have faith that chanting the holy name is above and beyond, and especially in this age. That's what we have to do. Thank you for, tying it all in very nicely.
Thank you, Mother Subharati. Yeah, I mean, saying this, like when we're saying like we fire sacrifice, like one might see it as like we're minimizing the value of fire sacrifice, and we're just saying like just chanting. If someone is going to perform yagya, it's like, no, I'm going to do my yagya on the side. Like it's not that way also. Because Srila Prabhupada, time and again, he says that we do these fire sacrifices for our purification, because we have accumulated so many sins from time and again, like many lives, we have that. So for that purification, we need these blessings and mercy from everyone.
Yes. Yes, and it is the Bhagavatam saying that the demigods have to be, invited and done. Again, the point is, when you do those fire sacrifices, the chanting has to go on the sides. In the other four corners, people shouldn't be just watching, or, everybody should be engaged in the chanting. And yes, you are very right. It's not about minimizing the fire sacrifices. It is how to perform it in the right mood and in the right way.
It's the main thing, the attitude.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mother Vindhyavali. You're doing greater sacrifice here. She's getting up at 4 a.m. and I think it's only 4:30 or 5 a.m. for her, and she's sitting here for the class. And Srila Prabhupada, in one of the class, he said that we are doing Jnana Yagya, scrutinizingly reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. Like these is also Yagya, because we are sacrificing time, attention, right? So this is Yagya. We're doing again.
And I am so grateful people like you and listening to this thing, and then you gave me the chance of singing that and praying and all the other God, I think morning that Jai Radha Madhava, other things. So I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And then listening to this very nice class, you just covered a lot of things. Yes, that is true. And yes, but I thought, what is that performing for yajna you have to do? But this is the Sankirtan yajna, that is a very important, chanting Krishna's name. And with concentration.
Yes. That's the important part.
That is a very important thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes mind goes here and there, you have to bring it back. So that is the main thing. Thank you very much for nice class, Shyama.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm also grateful to all of you for attentively listening.
Thanks, Parishit Prabhu. You're explaining too. Thank you very much. I always like his explanations. No?
Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy.
Yes.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is the science Srila Prabhupada taught us, being grateful. not
Devotee association.
you. It's grateful.
Anyway,
Devotee association.
there's one more thing that just comes to mind. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj gave 64 principles. And actually, the very first principle, he says, our motto, M-O-T-T-O, the motto in the Gaudiya Mass is Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. That's the very first statement. He made 64 statements, and the first one is just that.
Yeah.
This is, we wear it. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. So very much connects to what you talked about today. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Krishna.
Thank you very much, Bhakti David Prabhu. You also said something. Thank you. So that is the devotee association. So we learn a lot from everybody. That's very, very nice thing. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Mother Savaradi.
Their announcement?
Hare Krishna.
Today's Ekadasi. That is the announcement.
No, I mean, I don't have any other announcements. Happy Ekadasi and see you all at the Sunday feast.
Panchakapatarupasya
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
HG Shyamagori Devi Dasi ki jai
Yeah.
for a nice lecture.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.